My husband's plane seat was stolen, so we're at the airport boarding this long flight to France. My husband and I had been looking forward to it for months. We made sure to book our seats together, aisle and middle, because he gets really bad flight anxiety, and being separated would just make it worse. Boarding was going fine. My husband went to the bathroom before takeoff, and I started settling into our row. There's already a woman sitting in the window seat with a baby in her arms. Totally fine. That's her seat. No issue. I put my purse down, take off my sweater, and suddenly this guy comes down the aisle. He stops right next to me and without hesitation drops into the seat that belongs to my husband. I kind of pause and look at him like, wait, what? And then he looks at me and says, as if it's the most obvious thing in the world, I need to sit next to my wife and baby. I just blinked at him. Like, excuse me? That's not your seat. That's my husband's seat. I told him, that's my husband's seat. He just went to the bathroom, thinking that would be enough to make him move. But no, instead, he points all the way down towards the back of the plane and says, would you mind sitting back there instead? I swear, the audacity in that moment. I didn't even hesitate. I looked him dead in the eye and said, I can speak for my husband, and that would be no. And the look on his face, like I just done something unthinkable. His wife's giving me the side eye while bouncing the baby like I'm the monster here. But I don't move, I don't shift. That's our seat, period. Then, instead of just backing off, they start trying to flag down a flight attendant, like they were about to make this into some dramatic scene where I'm the villain for not giving up the seat my husband literally paid for. At this point, my blood pressure is through the roof, but I'm not backing down. And right when the tension is about to snap, this absolute angel of a woman sitting directly behind us leans forward. She looks right at the couple and says loud enough for everyone nearby to hear, if you knew you were flying with a baby, you should have made sure your seats were booked together. The silence after that was golden. The couple stammered something about trying to do that, but their excuses were weak. They knew they had nothing. The husband finally stood up, muttered under his breath, and walked away down the aisle to wherever his real seat was. A minute later, my husband comes back from the bathroom, totally unaware of the chaos that just happened. He sits down, buckles in, and I quietly fill him in on everything. And the relief on his face when I told him I didn't let that guy take his seat, priceless. He's not just nervous about flying. The idea of being shoved into the back of the plane alone for a transatlantic flight would have wrecked him. And honestly, I wasn't about to spend 7+ hours wedged between a couple and their crying baby either. He just nodded and said, thank you. And I could feel how much it meant to him that I stood my ground. But the moment that really stuck with me wasn't even telling that man no. It was that woman behind us. She didn't owe me anything. She could have just watched it play out in silence like most people do on planes, but instead she spoke up, clear and confident, and shut that whole situation down. That one sentence from her made all the difference. And honestly, that's how the flight started, with me realizing some people will try to push boundaries just to see if you'll cave. But if you stand your ground, and if you're lucky enough to have even one stranger back you up, it changes everything.